Hello. Today we'll use conversions of density mixed with mass and volume. And density is just the amount of matter that exists in a certain area. Okay. For example, there is more density, there is more matter in a piece of steel than there is in a piece of foam. The compacted area is more on steel than it is on foam. Okay, so although you might have the same square footage of steel to foam, the density changes. Okay, there's more weight on the steel. And density equals the mass of the object over the volume that it occupies. And if I play with this equation over here, I could say that density equals mass over volume. However, if I bring the volume up, now I have density times volume, or volume times density equals mass. I could bring this down again, back to the original. Density equals mass over volume. If I switch these two objects here, now I have volume equals mass over density. And it all revolves around the same equation, which is density mass over volume. This is the original that we work with usually. And from here, I could say three things. Density equals mass over volume. Volume times density equals mass. Or volume equals mass over density. Same equation revolving around the same topic. Let's do two samples over here. Number one, suppose a piece of metal is placed in a 50 milliliter graduated cylinder and the water rises from 27 milliliters to 35. If the density of the metal is 1.98 grams over milliliters, what is the mass of the metal? Looking for mass. If I want mass alone, then I bring this over here. Now I have density times volume equals mass, which we'll see on this part also. Okay, and I have the equation, and I will, like I did over here, density times volume, and I go the density times the volume. If I read the question carefully, the metal is placed in a 50 milliliter graduated cylinder. It doesn't mean that the volume is 50 because the water level rose from 27 to 35. Therefore, the volume of the object is 8 milliliters. 8 milliliters times its density, which is in this case 1.98 milliliters, cancel, that leaves you with mass. And you end up with 15.84 grams. Therefore, 8 milliliters times 1.98 gives me 15.84. And we are ignoring significant figures over here. Another sample. Sample 2. A metal has a total mass of 12.87 grams and a total volume of 8. Why? Because when placed on a cylinder, the water level rose by 8 milliliters. What is the density of the metal? Density equals mass over volume. This is a straight out equation. And there we go. Density equals the grams, which is the mass, 12.87 divided by 8 milliliters. When I place that into the calculator, I end up with 1.61 grams over milliliters. I cannot cancel grams over milliliters, so my answer is in grams over milliliters. This is the density of the metal, okay, or of the object placed in the water. Okay, so the volume was 8 because it rose the water level by 8. The mass is given to me in grams, 12.87 on the sample. Therefore, the answer is in grams over milliliters, which is density. Sample 1, the answer was in grams because milliliters cancel milliliters. That is a mass. And the original equation was density equals mass over volume. I hope this helps you out.